When Ethan Grant, the arrogant heir to a billion-dollar empire, invited quiet janitor Amara to the company gala as a joke, he expected laughter, not a legacy-shattering humiliation. Because when she arrived, not only did she look like royalty, she carried a truth that no one in that room was prepared to face. Ethan Grant was a man used to being watched. Every room he walked into, heads turned, hands extended, and lips curved into strategic smiles. As the only son of real estate titan Charles Grant, Ethan's reputation was a cocktail of wealth, arrogance, and entitlement. His family's annual Winter Gold Gala was the crown jewel of the city's elite social calendar, a glittering ballroom filled with power brokers, celebrities, and families whose last names carried weight. This year's event was special. The mayor would attend, and a multi-million-dollar charity partnership announcement was expected. Everything needed to be perfect. So when Ethan saw Amara mopping the marble floors that morning, tired hair pulled back, uniform old and faded, his smirk tightened. Amara Johnson was the quiet janitor who moved through the building like a shadow. She worked evenings and mornings, never speaking unless spoken to, and always with a sort of gentle pride that didn't match her lowly position. Ethan didn't understand people like her, people who worked hard for so little. His friends lounged around the lobby, sipping expensive coffee and mocking anyone who wasn't wealthy. One of them nudged Ethan. "Bet you couldn't bring someone unexpected to the gala tonight," he said, voice dripping with mischief. Ethan laughed. "Unexpected? What, you want me to bring a charity case?" Laughter echoed around. He turned to Amara. "Hey," he called, like addressing a servant in an old movie. She looked up respectfully. "How'd you like to come to the Grant Winter Gala tonight? Big fancy event. Food, music, real people." His friends snickered. Amara froze. Not because she didn't understand the joke, but because she understood exactly what it was, a humiliation dressed as kindness. She had worked enough years in wealthy environments to recognize cruelty served with a smile. "I appreciate the offer," she said softly, "but it's not necessary." She tried to turn back to her work, hoping to escape the spotlight of mockery. But Ethan wasn't finished. "Oh, come on, live a little. It's an invitation." His voice was loud enough for nearby staff to hear. "Wear something nice." Sarcasm threaded every syllable. Her eyes flickered, a storm brewing beneath calm waters. "If you insist," she whispered. The boys burst into laughter, assuming the night's entertainment was secured. Ethan strutted away, satisfied. To him, she was invisible, the kind of woman no one would notice even if she stood in front of cameras. But he didn't know who she really was, and he had no idea the storm he had just unleashed. The ballroom that night glowed like a palace. Gold leaf ceilings, crystal chandeliers, orchestral strings floating through the air. Guests arrived in diamonds and tailored silk, photographers capturing every entrance. Ethan stood by the champagne fountain, greeting guests, but his mind was elsewhere, waiting for the punchline he'd manufactured. "Watch her show up in a thrift store dress," he whispered to a friend. "If she even shows at all." Then the doors opened. Silence moved like a wave across the ballroom. Amara stepped inside, and for a moment even the chandelier lights seemed to bow to her presence. She wore a flowing emerald satin gown that hugged her figure with elegant simplicity, paired with a pearl pendant that looked like it belonged in a museum. Her hair, once pulled back plainly, now cascaded in soft curls, framing a face full of quiet confidence. Guests turned. Whispers flooded. A billionaire's wife gasped softly. Ethan choked mid-sip, coughing as champagne sprayed. "No way." Amara didn't walk. She glided, grace in every step, posture commanding like a queen surveying her kingdom. She wasn't wealthy by appearance. She was regal by nature. That rare kind of self-assurance no money could buy. A group of executives parted instinctively when she passed, unsure if she was royalty, a diplomat, an heiress. Ethan's friend leaned in. "You invited that." Ethan tried to regain control. "Well, she cleans. She must have borrowed it," he sneered, though doubt was creeping into his voice. Amara approached him slowly. "Good evening, Mr. Grant. Thank you for the invitation." Her tone was poised, measured, not trembling, not grateful, simply dignified. His jaw clenched. "You clean floors," he muttered privately. "Try not to embarrass anyone." Amara blinked once, slow, steady, unbothered. "Don't worry. I never embarrass myself." Only those who underestimate others embarrass themselves. A nearby group overheard. A senator's wife raised an eyebrow, impressed. Music resumed, but eyes remained on her. Some guests greeted her warmly, charmed by her presence. When she spoke, her voice held intelligence and education, far beyond what anyone assumed. Ethan felt something he wasn't used to, the sting of being small. Then his father approached. "Ethan," Charles Grant barked harshly, pulling him aside. "Who is that woman? Do you know who you brought here?" "She's just the janitor," Ethan whispered. "A joke." His father's face drained of color. "You fool." Amara was now speaking with the mayor, not awkwardly, but expertly, referencing public housing policies and community reinvestment. "Son," Charles hissed, panic lacing his tone, "that woman isn't who you think. She's Amara Johnson, founder of Healing Hands Foundation. They funded half the community projects this city boasts about. She's worth more than half the people in this room combined." Ethan turned cold. This wasn't a prank. This was a disaster, for him. Ethan's legs wobbled as he approached Amara, suddenly humble. A waiter hesitated before offering her champagne, not because she wasn't qualified, but because she seemed too important. "Amara," Ethan stammered, "you never said." "That I ran a charity. That I own several companies. That I employ hundreds." Her voice stayed soft, but each word cut like glass. "You never asked." His face burned. I didn't mean." "Yes, you did." She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. "To you, my value was measured by the clothes I wore and the job title you assumed I held." A circle of guests quietly listened. Ethan's humiliation was no longer private. "I worked as a janitor once," she continued, "when life pushed me down. I kept the uniform as a reminder of where dignity truly lives, not in wealth, but in humility." His throat tightened. She had cleaned for them not because she needed to, but because she never forgot where she came from. "I believe in helping people," she said, "but arrogance is a sickness money cannot cure." The mayor stepped forward. "Ms. Johnson, we would be honored to discuss expanding your foundation projects." Ethan's father nervously nodded. Yes, the Grant Corporation would love to collaborate." Amara smiled politely at them, then turned to Ethan. "You invited me to humiliate me." Her voice shook the air, calm but powerful. "Instead, you revealed yourself." There was no malice, only truth. Ethan felt smaller than he ever had in his life. Then something incredible happened. A young server who'd been pouring water all night stepped forward, eyes shining. "Thank you," she whispered to Amara, "for showing that we matter." Amara touched her shoulder gently. "Everyone matters. Never let anyone tell you otherwise." Applause rose, quiet at first, then echoing through the ballroom. Not for wealth, not for beauty, but for dignity, strength, and grace. Ethan stepped back, heart sinking as he realized the joke was not on her. It had always been on him. She left early, not needing validation. When the doors closed behind her, the room felt emptier, like a queen had exited her rightful court. Ethan's father turned to him, face thunderous. "You nearly ruined us." Humility. Ethan, learn it. For once, Ethan didn't argue. He simply watched the doors where she had disappeared, understanding only now how foolish he had been. And somewhere outside, Amara walked into the night, free, proud, untouched by wealth's poison. Because she didn't need a ballroom to prove her worth. She already knew it. And now, so did everyone else.